My name is the Judge Prime, the ITK, here again with another album review. Today we are talking about Aramide's debut album, Suitcase. Now, Aramide is a Nigerian Afro-soul artist. Now, while I am a fan of soul, I don't like the term Afro-soul because to me, soul is a genre that was, created by people of African descent and does have its roots in African music. But I do understand the naming Afro-soul. This is Aramide's debut album. She's had a few singles in the build-up to the release of this album. Iwonika, Fumilowo featuring Sir Dauda, and Tell Me featuring Adekunle Gold. I was rather excited for this album. As you know, I'm a fan of soul music, and I also listened to a few of these singles and I did enjoy them quite a bit. So let's talk about Suitcase. So Suitcase, the feeling I get listening to this album is like Aramide is taking you on a journey of love, a few life experiences here and there, a few very deep and touching stories are also told on this album. The album is 15 tracks. It opens with the track Eledumare, which is Yoruba for God, and basically this track feels like a prayer sort of. My interpretation of this track would be, through anything, just always call on God. It feels like a very gentle and smooth track, a very nice introduction to the album. The next track, Why So Serious? This is basically a call out to people who get attached or invested in physical relationships quite quickly. Basically, getting attached or emotional after a one night stand and calling the person. So Aramide says, why are you taking it so seriously? The instrumentation feels very jazzy, with very lovely incorporations of Yoruba or traditional Nigerian drumming on this track. The next track on here, Fumilowo featuring Sir Dauda, as I said, this was a single in the build up to the album, and I think this would probably be my favorite Aramide song and my favorite song on this album. The song kind of has this playful, fun feeling at the same time, telling you a more serious story or touching on a more serious topic. Basically on this track, Aramide is calling out people who take advantage of others, whether you collaborate or work with them and then don't pay them back, basically saying, pay me back, pay me my money. And this is a very nice track. Like I said, it's very playful. It has this nice playful element. I love the whistling effect on this track as well. And the instrumentation feels well done. It feels very well layered. Everything on this track feels very good in my opinion. There's also a remix of this track. I didn't feel like it was necessary to have a remix on this track. In fact, I would have preferred if Aramide had a solo version of the song. I would have just liked to have heard only her on this track. Throughout this album though, I do get this feeling that Aramide is still not quite certain of her sound. Either that or she tries to cater, maybe, I think that's a better word, cater to an audience that might not exactly like or completely understand the direction with which she's going with on her music. So you have songs where it's sort of poppy, and then you have songs that are reggae influenced, and then you have songs that is more jazzy and elegant. I will say a key word for this album is elegance. This album is very elegant. It's very, you get this kind of jazzy high class feeling like you're in these retro, I don't know if they're bars or like these retro settings where you have people or jazz artists or jazz bands playing it. It does feel very classy and elegant. The next track, Bosse is a very nice track as well. I really enjoyed this track. Sweet Connection, again, more jazzy instrumentation, very elegant track. Like I said, it has a very nice love story. Like I said, this is a love album. Most of the topics that are touched on this album revolve around love, whether longing for a lover, wanting to get married, or why you so serious in terms of, a physical relationship. Staying on the song Sweet Connection, I feel like this track could have done without the backing vocals on the hook. I feel as though Aramide could have carried the hook better and it would have given it a more soulful feel. The next track, Feeling This Feeling, the problem I had with this track was the hook. I'm feeling this feeling, I'm feeling this feeling. It felt very repetitive and a bit annoying. Listening to it multiple times, I didn't really like this track. And then you have the track Stranger in Rome, which I can't properly articulate the feeling I have on this track. It's a very nice track. I will say that. It's a very nice track. It's a very different track. Very classy track again. And you do get these reggae vibes again. I think Aramide draws on reggae and bits of Afro beats here and a bit of, you know, pop. I will say though Aramide has called herself or has coined the term Afro-soul, I didn't feel very much soul. When I mean soul, I don't mean her singing with her soul. I mean soulful music. The album didn't feel very soulful. There were moments here and there, but to tag yourself an Afro-soul artist, I would have expected a lot more soul than what I got on this album. This album to me felt like maybe an Afro-pop album or an urban high life album drawing from Adekunle Gold's self-term genre choice. There's also an Ice Prince feature on here. I've been underwhelmed by Ice Prince's music of late. Another track on here, Ayokumi, the second to last track, a very meaningful track, deeply reflective track, very subtle, very chill, very mellow track. This album, I will say, is an album you need to sit down and listen to and appreciate all the little elements within the production, as well as Aramide's singing. I think she's a very capable singer. I don't like some of the vocal effects that are added to her music, and sometimes the production drowns out her music. It's a bit too loud for her voice. Also, it still feels like she's trying different things to sort of get into her own niche. There are times, like for example, the track Fumiloa, I think she's most comfortable on that track. Overall, I will say the album has some very, very good parts. It does have some mediocre elements here and there. I would have felt better maybe if this had been a 10 or 12 track project, just to cut out some of the tracks that weren't up to par, in my opinion. This album is a 7/10, a very good debut project from Aramide. Certainly, I think if she continues, you know, experimenting with her sound and really getting comfortable with what she wants to do with her music, then I think her next album is going to be phenomenal. But 7/10 for Aramide's Suitcase. I will say that if you're a fan of Afro pop, if you're a fan of jazzy and you know, reggae influenced music, you should definitely give this album a listen. This isn't an album that's, you know, clubby and up in your face, though it does have moments that you could say would do well in a party, but I think this is a more subtle, chill album. So if that's your kind of thing, then definitely go and give this album a listen. If you're a fan of Aramide, you should enjoy this album, and you probably already have this album by now. So Aramide's Suitcase, 7/10. I look forward to seeing what she comes out with next, her next few projects. And those are my thoughts on Suitcase. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you given a listen to this album? Do you like it? What don't you like? What don't you agree with me even on this album? My name is Dijaji Prime. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like. If you're new around here, why not click subscribe? I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.